Welcome to the Zono Sports Show, where you know Zo knows. Now, today, of course, we got a lot to talk about. Had a fun weekend. It's finally winter. It's chilly outside. Get your North Face out. Get your Ugg boots out, ladies. I really liked a lot of the games that went on this weekend. Some fans across the country, they needed this rebound of a weekend. Just break up with last week and get with this weekend. Now, a lot of good games on. A lot of teams had the chance to bounce back and make that rebound. Ohio State snuck out of East Lansing. They won that game 17-16. It was cold, chilly. It's that time of the year in the Big Ten. These games are going to mean something down the stretch. The cold ones, that's why I wouldn't like to play in the Big Ten if I were a player in this day and age. I'd never like playing in the cold anyway. But these are the games that matter in the Big Ten when the weather's bad. So can Ohio State, when they play Michigan next week, what'll happen? I don't know. That's a big game. Now, the question I have for myself, can Penn State, can they beat Michigan State? They get Michigan State at home, and if they win that game, they'll be playing for the Big Ten championship because, of course, they have that fluky head-to-head win versus Ohio State. I still don't know how Penn State snuck out with that victory, but they did, of course, so they'll get the opportunity. Also, Oklahoma this past weekend slaughtered some Mountaineer meat right in their backyard, 56-28, beat Oklahoma. Beat West Virginia and Skylar Howard. West Virginia just looked bad. And the question I have, what's up with the logo disrespect from all over the country this past weekend? Also, the pregame scuffles. I mean, sheesh, guys, chill out. I mean, I know everybody's trying to make the playoff. I know everybody wants their shot, but we got to be kind to one another. That's what we have to do, okay? Ease up. Just save it for between the lines. Save it when the clock strikes 15 in football, 12 in basketball, NBA. But save it for between the lines, guys. Also, Baker Mayfield, he managed to slay 34-0 to start the game. Oklahoma did against West Virginia. They were never in the game once it kicked off. They were done for by halftime, not scoring a point. Shutout really hurts you early. Oklahoma, they're in the right side restroom of the College Football Playoff Committee. They're number 9. I don't know what they'll be ranked tonight when they show those rankings. However, Oklahoma's right in the thick of things. So just keep waiting in that side restroom by the playoff committee's office, and I'm sure Oklahoma may potentially get invited in. But we'll have to see. I don't know. Big 12's pretty weak. Don't play a lot of defense. Also, Clemson smashed Wake Forest, Colorado. They may win the Pac-12 South Division. They beat Washington State this past weekend, so the Apple Cup doesn't mean as much for Washington State. I know for Washington and Washington State as well, because they both have. Washington State has 2 losses, one to Boise State and now to Colorado, and then Washington, of course, has the one to USC. But speaking of Washington, they bounced back at home this weekend, beat Arizona State, blew them out. So did Michigan, snuck out against Indiana. That was a tight game, but we'll let it slide. Western Michigan, they're still undefeated. They win that game against Buffalo 38-0. Game day was there. It was turned up. It was lit. And Western Michigan went out, executed, implemented the game plan, got it done. So give a lot of kudos to P.J. Fleck. All these big jobs that they're talking about for Tom Herman, why not give P.J. Fleck a shot? If you can't get Tom Herman, Texas, go get P.J. Fleck. Why not? Also, Florida secures the SEC East. Beat LSU in Baton Rouge in the de facto home game that was really an away game. They didn't get to play because of the reschedule for Hurricane Matthew. Also, Leonard Fournette. I saw him before the game come out and got into it with a few Florida guys and pushed the coach, nudged the coach. I wouldn't call it a push. But this knockoff Willis Reed performance that he came out and put forth, 40 yards rushing after you weren't supposed to play because your ankle was hurt, but you let a coach rile you up that much and rattle your cage to the point that I'm going to suit up and go out here and do nothing. Leonard Fournette, either you're going to play college football or go to the next level. Don't be a tweener, because what if you get hurt even worse? You can't blame anybody but yourself. So, I mean, LSU, they really blew this for Coach O, I think. He has the loss to Alabama, now the loss to Florida. 2 games that really mattered for their season, so I don't see him keeping this job. If I'm LSU, I go for a Jimbo Fisher. If I can't get him, I like PJ Fleck because I feel like he can get people motivated. I like Tom Herman too. He does the kisses before the game on his players. But PJ Fleck, that's my guy that just because of his personality, his persona, if I'm running a big time program and I want to face a Harbaugh type guy, I'm going after PJ Fleck. That's just me. Now, also, choke of the weekend. Choke of the weekend goes to the Louisville Cardinals and Lamar Jackson. Terrible, terrible, terrible game Thursday night, guys. First off, stay off of Twitter. Middle of the game, these guys are down by a couple scores, and they show a bunch of tweets that Louisville sent out. Oh, the College Football Playoff Committee has us messed up. They got us messed up. Oh, they have us number 5. Blah, 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 blah. And then they come out and get embarrassed by Houston on national television. Come on, Louisville. We better than that here. Now, Houston, they undressed the Cards on national TV 36-10. It was not a game from start to finish. Opening kickoff, fumble. A guy hurts his arm. Then next possession, fumble. Radcliffe fumbles, and the game just spiraled out of control from there. If you worked late, you'd know they were out of the game before the kids were asleep. Ed Oliver, one thing I want to say about that guy, he's a top recruit for Houston. That guy, Ed Oliver, he's somebody who I think will be a lottery pick for sure. He dominated Louisville from the defensive end spot. They moved him to the 3 technique. He dominated there as well. And he's a baller. I mean, I give props to him. I saw him on the sideline dancing and stuff. I mean, he earned the right to dance, but they dominated Louisville. And I mean, Houston, who's to say that they shouldn't be in the Big 12? Big 12, you guys should be looking at this right here. I mean, Houston, they are beating teams, bad, good teams. So don't penalize them for a Navy loss. Don't penalize them for, I can't remember what their other loss was, but don't penalize them for those small losses when they're beating Oklahoma, Louisville, 2 top 10 playoff teams. That might be somebody you want to incorporate into your conference, Big 12. But hey, they don't pay me. But Green Bay. Let's move over to NFL because I got to talk about Green Bay. Green Bay, they lost bad again against Washington. They got busted by the Titans last week, and now the Redskins have their way with the Packers. Someone must answer for the butt spankings that the Packers are getting week in and week out. We can't let Kirk Cousins. Come on, guys. I mean, you can't let Kirk Cousins have his game of the season against you. 21 for 30, 375 yards. 3 TDs. I mean, come on, guys. That's a bit much for a guy with a noodle arm. We can all agree that Kirk Cousins probably has the weakest arm out of all 32 NFL quarterbacks. But so you can't let him just go out there and outduel Aaron Rodgers, who's arguably one of the best quarterbacks of all time, maybe top 5. He struggled this year. Rodgers didn't struggle this game, though. He was 26 for 41, 351 yards, 3 TDs. The defense must stink like a zoo cage. That's got to be the reason for all these blowouts. I mean, they can't stop a soul. They couldn't stop, I don't know, a Little League team, the Mighty Mites. I go watch my buddy Charles' kid. They couldn't stop the Louisville Lions. I just don't understand why the defense has been so bad. But they'll have to make some type of changes. Mike McCarthy, I look at you, sir. What have you done for me lately? A Super Bowl in 2010? How long ago was that? I mean, I want to see what Mike McCarthy has in store for the Packers the rest of the season because they're not out of it. But I got to see what this guy can do as coach because if he can't get it done, NFL is a week by week by week basis. And if he continues to lose, it may be time for a fresh face in Green Bay. I'm just saying. I mean, because you can go to playoffs every year, but if you're not winning those games, yes, that game against Arizona last year was a redemption for the blowout you took earlier a few weeks before that. But come on, Mike McCarthy, what have you done lately, sir? So look forward to seeing what goes on with Green Bay. The Cowboys, they beat the best D in the NFL, 27-17, beat the Ravens. That quells and silences all the critics for the Cowboys. They are a legit team. All Jerry Jones could say is, it's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful feeling. I understand, Jerry Jones, how you feel. You've got your boy, Tony Romo, who's going to come over for Thanksgiving, even though he's not starting. He may be a little salty, but I'm sure he'll still eat plenty of turkey and dressing and all that good stuff. Dak Prescott playing great. They're the supreme favorite in the NFC. This was a clean game. I really liked it. No turnovers by either side. Just good football. 27 points by Dak. I mean, this guy will not stop. He's on a tear. I don't see him stopping. Zeke, I know he's salty. Ezekiel Elliott, because he only rushed for 25 carries for 97 yards. So I know Zeke's pretty salty because he's 3 from 100. I mean, he gets that like what every game. So the Cowboys, they look really good. So don't hate on them, America. I mean, we got to give them their props. Cowboys are playing great. Last night in Mexico, the Raiders win on Monday Night Football versus the Texans. Super Bowl stew ingredients. Let me go down the list for you. I'll be your Rachel Ray for this morning, or your Guy Fieri. Now, franchise QB, decent running back, and a stout defense are all the ingredients that go into making a wonderful, wonderful Super Bowl stew. Now, that's something you can have on Thanksgiving, but it's never really ready. And you can for sure serve it on Christmas because by then we know who's got the goods. Now, Derek Carr and Amari Cooper, they're the second coming of Steve Young and Jerry Rice. The run after catch aspect with Amari Cooper and what he does as far as yak goes, that's what made Jerry Rice great. He could take a little slant or he could take a basic dig route and turn it into an 80-yard touchdown, which is what we see Amari Cooper do so much, do so often. Hell, I remember back when they played Tennessee a few years ago, and he had 3 touchdowns in the first half. I think it was the first quarter, 21-0. So Amari Cooper, this is something that he'll do for a long time. And Derek Carr, that guy is good. He was good at Fresno State, small school QB, but he's for sure good. And he's got a line and a defense. So I really like the Raiders. And don't blame it all on the refs. The Raiders won that game fair and square. The Raiders are a good team. They're a contender. I really see them playing the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. Top 5 in college basketball, college hoops. Now, from what I've seen, I really like a few teams, and there's some teams I'm not too high on. I'll tell you about that one particular team that I'm really not high on. Number 6, Duke. They lost to Kansas. That dropped them, of course, to number 6, but they're still a good team. They got a lot of guys out. Kansas, they have the early loss to Indiana, refocused this team. They've been able to beat Duke, so that's why they're ranked ahead of them, of course. I think they'll find a way to mess it up in the tournament, though, like they do every year. North Carolina is a team that I think will be right there. They're number 5. They're in Maui right now. Enjoy that over Thanksgiving. In 04 and 08, they won Maui, and guess what they did after they won Maui in that preseason tournament? In that early season tournament. After they win Maui, they won the national championship in 2004 and 2008. So the Tar Heels, they may live out a similar pattern this year. After losing that heartbreaking game at the buzzer to Chris Jenkins with a knife through the heart, maybe if they win Maui, the Tar Heels can find a way to climb all the way back to the depths of their despair and pull themselves up to the top of the pinnacle, with the top of the mountain, which would be a national championship. Now, Indiana, they're number 3. Thomas Bryant, he's holding down the middle. I really like this big guy. He's come in and really cemented what they've tried to do with that program. After they got rid of a guy like Cody Zeller, I mean, that guy was a player. So when you come in, you replace him, you have to be a baller. Thomas Bryant's proven that he can do it. Villanova, they're number 2. They played a tight game versus Purdue, but they're still a defensive-oriented team. I like Josh Hart at guard. Also, they really have great shooters, and they play great defense. So when you're playing great defense, but you have shooters that can knock down jumpers, that goes a long way. Chris Big Shot Jenkins still there. He'll always be called Chris Big Shot Jenkins by me. Kentucky, the Wildcats. They're number 1. 42 first-place votes, of course. They look like that John Calipari team from a few years ago that lost to Wisconsin, winning every game by 20, but everybody knows these games don't really count. We want to know what you do in tournament time, Mr. Coach Cal. So talk to me then. Talk to you in April if you're there. Now, teams to watch in college basketball, men's, I really like number 12 Creighton. They're unbeaten. They're blowing people out. They're a team that's experienced success. Oh, Mr. McDermott, Kyle Korver. This team here, Creighton, is a team that I think could make a magical Final Four run, potentially even get to the national championship because of their scoring ability. They're averaging 80-plus points a game, and they're doing it against top-tier schools, not just bums. They scored 112 on NC State. They scored 86 on Ole Miss. I mean, that's NC State and Ole Miss. but they're blowing teams out easily. So I really like Creighton to be your dark horse Final Four contender. Look for Creighton at the end of the year. They may be right there. Zoe knows. Now, teams to hide from. Oregon. Do not, even when the brackets come out and they've won a few games, potentially even won the Pac-12, do not take Oregon past the round of 32. I just don't like Oregon. These Ducks are sour. They lost to G-Town, and they lost to Baylor. G-Town meaning Georgetown. This team is just not good. Duck Dynasty, I wish they would come just snatch him off of the map because they have not been playing well. Chris Boucher hasn't been playing well. They've been turning the ball over. They need to slow it down a little bit. I know Dana Altman just got the extension from Oregon, but they need to slow it down a whole lot because what they're doing there is just not working. In women's hoops, you gotta always look out for Gino and UConn and the Notre Dame Lady Irish, okay? Because they constantly and consistently are always 1 and 2. Notre Dame's number 1 right now. UConn number 2. South Carolina, close third. South Carolina runs a great women's program. However, UConn and Notre Dame will be right there. I'm anxious to see, can my girl, Erica Sis, point guard for the Ole Miss Rebels, can she take on UConn? I asked her last year, Erica, can you do something? Can you get there and please show those Lady Huskies that you ain't scared? And she said, yeah, I feel you, big dog. And I hope that Erica can continue to lead her team. She's a star, standout point guard, great guard. I watched her at Murray, play for Murray State. I mean, she's phenomenal. Check her out if you haven't seen Erica Sisk. Great player. I wish her the best. Hope she gets a shot at the WNBA because she definitely deserves it. She's feisty. She's quick. Reminds me a lot of Cappie Pondexter. So look out for Erica Sis in women's hoops. Quick hits for the NBA. Pistons, they're deciding to move downtown to a downtown location and arena. I mean, it's about time, Detroit. Get out of Palace of Auburn Hills. That's old stadium, beat up. It's been there since I took a bus trip with my mom back when I was 5 to go watch a game and see Allen Houston. So if you don't mind, could you go ahead and move downtown like the rest of the NBA teams are? Most of them, I would assume. Also, Stevie Francis threatened an officer yesterday. So sad. I want NBA Street Stevie back. Bring him back. Bring him back. The reports on Curry's shoes. They say that the sales are slowing for Under Armour for the sale on Steph Curry's shoes. Under Armour, what did you expect? You got to do a lot more and put a lot more money and time in commercials for Steph Curry and those shoes if you want people to go out and buy that Under Armour stuff. I mean, it's not new and fresh anymore like it was 10, 15 years ago. People don't wear Under Armour shoes. They wear J's and the check. I fought Steph Curry's agent for even allowing him to sign with Under Armour. You don't do that. I mean, yes, I understand that Nike probably gets a lot of that money back from their athletes they have shoe deals with. But think about how much money the athlete gets from that. But Under Armour, people don't want to wear that. They just don't. They might hoop in it, but nobody wants to walk into the club or into a banquet or into just a chill baby shower. If they have style, they don't want to walk in their nice True Religion jeans, a nice button-up polo, and some Under Armour Curry shoes. No, they want Jordans or Nike. So I fought Curry's agent. I can't even fault Under Armour. They're a fitness company, not necessarily an athletic wear company. So yeah, Steph Curry's agent, he might as well hire me. Chef, let's get you with Nike. Let's let Nike buy out your contract with Under Armour. Let's get you with Nike, Steph, because you don't need Under Armour. You're better than Under Armour, Chef. You're better than them, Chef. Now, also, one thing I wanted to touch on with soccer, Jurgen Klinsmann, he was fired as coach of the U.S. soccer team. He's been there a while, 55-27. I can't remember what the tie record was, but it'll be interesting to see what the U.S. soccer team does. But they had to get a new coach, obviously. This Thanksgiving, definitely watch some football, enjoy some basketball, plenty of tournaments on, Maui Invitational, Battle for Atlantis, got a lot of hoop this weekend. Now, keep in mind, enjoy family and food, but keep in mind, don't wake up and be mad at me on Thursday, okay? There will be no show this Thursday. Zoe knows we'll be eating, so definitely I will see you guys next Tuesday. Have a great holiday, and God bless. Thank you for watching the Zoe Knows Sports Show.